Hi everyone, my name is Anna Karnaukh, and it's true, I present an organization called Lanka.pro. Lanka in Ukrainian means link, and we don't have a space, that's important to say, but what we do is we bring together different bits and pieces of the creative and cultural ecosystem in Ukraine and try to build those connections between different parts and empower sector representatives. So what we do this kind of facilitation between different players, then we do research, mapping, we design methodologies and also projects, and we do education and capacity building for the sector. Probably I will stop here for a second, and I would say that we are using this word of revival as opposition to rebuilding, because there are a lot of conversations about rebuilding of Ukraine, and actually rebuilding is more like about buildings only. However, the thing is that it's more about recovery of the country, so it's really to consider which things worked, which didn't, and not to build back something that didn't work, but actually to rethink things and to recover them and revive them. So that's the thing. And probably I will explain why I'm on this panel, because I don't have a space. So thank you for EACEA for inviting me. We did a number of projects in the last half a year that I think allow me to speak on behalf of a lot of organizations in Ukraine. So first, together with EU delegation and commission, we have mapped like the state of the cultural sector in Ukraine after the start of the full-scale invasion by Russia. So we looked at really all the sectors and the needs of different players. Then there was a project for half a year. We were looking at the local cultural infrastructure and different types of players there, also in the context of this recovery. And also now we are involved in mapping and needs assessment of creative hubs in Ukraine. And I'm also glad to say that we are grantees of EACEA, of Zmina 2 project. And what we did, we brought together representatives from culture and from different sectors like business, psychology, to work on solutions for mental health inspired by culture. So using those things that we did during the last year, I would like to speak not on behalf of one organization, but probably to give you a context, like what are Ukrainian cultural organizations are going through now and what could be the solutions. So first, you also mentioned the word genocide. So what I want to say is that there is war in Ukraine, but it's also pure genocide. And you said there is no like one cause of the crisis. In our case, there is an obvious cause, it's Russia. So, and this is the statistics from March, but it's important to say that numbers are growing every day. So there are almost, I'm sure by now it's more, 2,000 objects of culture infrastructure that they were damaged, and 317 by March were completely destroyed. And that doesn't include culture heritage. So culture heritage, in May, it was already more than 1,000 objects that they were destroyed or completely damaged. And what I want to say is Russia is deliberately targeting those objects because it's not only for territories, but it's the war for identity, it's basically genocide. And also what is important to understand in the context of the country. So for us, it has never happened before that so many people left the country, and we don't know the exact number, how many people are staying in other countries. So it's just like approximate number, which is also changing almost every day. But the statistic says that around like 5 million of people, they are outside of Ukraine, but even more people, they are displaced. Because there are people who left the country or they moved, there is a huge brain drain. And it's important to understand that creatives, they are among the most mobile people. They work online, they do projects all around the world. And what happened is that when the war started, of course, there were not that many opportunities for creatives offered by state or other international partners within Ukraine. But there were many residencies, collaborative projects outside. So some people decided to move, and that's why they stayed outside. It's very important while supporting Ukraine to initiate projects that are outside of Ukraine, but I would say it's very important to think of projects that are supporting people also inside of the country. But it doesn't only relate to culture, the brain drain. It's just in every area of our lives, the brain drain impacts. So, for example, yesterday I read the news that the distance between, not the distance, the time between the trains in the metro will be longer because there is not enough of drivers. They were mobilized. So, of course, for culture, it's also relevant. So some people went to the army, some left. There is a huge potential of state infrastructure of culture that has been created during Soviet Union times. So there are around 33,000 of objects that includes libraries, museums, different houses of culture, palaces of culture, and so on, that they've been there since Soviet times, but they have never been like completely reformed. However, they are there, and there's a huge potential. The thing is that the state just gives them a very minimal funding to support the maintenance of the building and a very limited salary for usually one person to run the space. So there is no much of potential to develop it. However, the need for those spaces is just huge now. And there is our QR code if you want to follow us on LinkedIn. Well,